That's right, you guys. We're talking about Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Oh God. I'll be real with you guys. When I was a teenager, when this movie first came out, I used to watch it a lot, right? Because I was a teenager. And I felt at the time like this movie is like this is what adult love must be like. This is what adult relationships must be like, this is what it must feel like. This is what it must look like and all that. And it is. And it is. It 100% is. The thing is, it's easy to aspire to that when you're a teenager, but when you're an actual adult and you're going through these relationships and these feelings and all that, it's not a comforting movie by any means, or at least it wasn't in my head. But so for like God, 15 years I didn't watch this movie. I haven't watched this movie since I was like Donnie Darko. I haven't seen this movie since I was like maybe 18. I think maybe like last time I saw it was like maybe 20. That was maybe the last time I saw it, but it's been it was a long time since I saw it, and I almost didn't watch it because I didn't need to. This movie is so vividly like I could close my eyes and see that movie from beginning to end, you know. But I watched it again yesterday. God damn, this movie is just it never loses its power. It never loses what makes it great. This is the most complete, honest, and just pure expression of love probably in any art form. The beauty of cinema, the power of it is that it can fully encapsulate these complex ideas I mean, just look at the Matrix, right? That's a movie that's dense with philosophy, but it's just an action movie. Same thing with Mad Max Fury Road, you know. And Eternal Sunshine is just it's that right. This movie is love incarnate as a film. It's exploring all of it. It's exploring love from every single angle with this brilliant conceit, right? Because with heart, with love comes pain, comes heartache, and comes risk, and comes with vulnerability, and that shit's fucking scary, right? It's fucking scary to trust someone and be like, oh yeah, here's my heart, like here's my heart. You know what I mean? Like, please don't hurt it. But like, what this movie does is that it reconciles with that fear, with that pain, with heartache, and most importantly, it contrasts it directly with love, like, and not just like in like the most boring way. Like, you see a couple, like the main couple is already like broken up, their best friends are completely dysfunctional and probably should break up. You have unrequited love. You have like, a dude who like finds out his girl is like in love with someone else. It explores all these things, and it wraps it all up around this brilliant central conceit where it's like, what if you could have love without the pain? But what's love without pain? What's a relationship without the risk? What is giving yourself over to someone without, giving yourself over to someone, and just trusting that that person is that you're putting your whole self in the right hands, and watching it yesterday, what really kind of like, I mean, first of all, this movie just like, oh God, I was not ready for to be impacted so much by this, the real like powerful moments. And like there's like three incredibly powerful moments in this movie that when I was watching it yesterday just hit me in a way that it never had before, because I only watched this when I was a teenager, when like all that shit was like theoretical and in the future. And I'm in a very awesome relationship right now, a very steady one, a very stable one, So now that I'm here, I'm watching this movie and I'm thinking about everything that came before it and how it got to this point, and how much of my life I spent like trying not to think about that, trying not to deal with the outcome of all those things that led up to now. And then this movie just doesn't allow you to escape that, because the way this movie explores these themes, right? Like the brilliant touch that you start the procedure off with your most recent memories where everything sucks, and then slowly you move further back in time, when until you're like in the honeymoon phase, and it's so like intense and so like Raw and all that shit, you know? That's such a brilliant move because it's only like, you know, in retrospect that we really come to appreciate that because this movie, what's great is that it's not a simple, happy, clean love story. You know, like I'm not gonna ruin the ending here, but if you know the ending of this movie, you know that I'm talking, you know what I'm talking about. It's not, it's you know, it doesn't do anything different. This is a movie that, you know, it tells you love conquers all. It tells you the same thing every other fucking movie has ever said about love. Love will conquer all. But this is the only movie that makes you feel it because it's not a clean, happy ending. It's not a clean, happy story. It's not a simple love. Love is not simple. Romance is not simple. You know, so this movie does not portray it as anything other than it is. It's complicated. It's it's intense. A lot of the times you're wondering what you're even doing there, you know? But the thing is, you love the person you love because they are that person. And nothing could take that away except that person, you know? That's the real true fucking power of this is like I said, love conquers all. Yeah, whatever. But like this movie is like, no, motherfucker, love conquers all. Okay, whether you fucking like it or not. But man, honestly, this movie, I'm so glad that I rewatched it. I'm so glad that like it's still just you know, it's still packed a punch, but it was such a different punch than what I felt my entire life before this. And frankly, much like Donnie Darko, it's the world is a better place because this movie exists. Because yeah, there have been revisionist romantic comedies before and after. Love conquers. Hey, when I say love conquers all, I mean all, including Good Judgment, right? Because you know, a big part of this movie is, well, I mean, to get into that, I'd have to really spoil it, and I don't want to do that here because that's not what 10 top 10 lists are for. Maybe when I do the clip, maybe when I clip this out, I'll add like a spoiler section at the end where I get really in depth. But like, yeah, this movie's fucking magic, man. This movie, it's cinema. It's fucking cinema. I mean, all these movies are, right? That's what I love about all these movies. They're all just so like cinema executing at its peak levels. But you know, very rarely does a movie like one most of the time when we think about like the greatest movies of all time, they're so loaded with these heavy themes and with such seriousness and all that. And don't get me wrong, Eternal Sunshine is that. I mean, it's also funny. It's got some really funny moments in it. Um, but it's awesome when cinema is able to explore something positive and kind of cheesy and kind of corny, but do so in a way that feels honest and undeniable. And that's what this movie is. Like I don't think anybody could ever watch this movie and not see something of themselves in it because like I said, it's all encompassing. This is love all encompassing and love conquers all. All right, guys, we're getting here to the last two. So we're gonna to the longest movies on this list. Funny enough, the two longest movies are almost exactly the same length. But let's uh let's start with well, let's actually read some of the comments here. Your number three is Howl's Moving Castle is gorgeous animated movie to watch. This movie always made me, dude. I tell you, I gotta watch more Ghibli. I really do, man, because I love all the Ghibli that I've seen. You know, I have three Studio Ghibli films in my top 10 when Marnie was there and Tello. See, that's the thing. Like, it's crazy. Like, as me, as someone who was not, oh, dude, Code, you got to see it, man. You got to see it. But yeah, it's so weird, like how many Ghibli movies there are out there because I only know the big ones that everyone knows, you know. But yeah, let's move on to my number two, which is just goddamn. I mean, it's this is gonna look a little nondescript here, but I think if you know it, you know it, right?